In a quiet chamber in Turin, Italy, lies a piece of cloth that has divided science, faith, and history for centuries. Some call it the holiest relic on earth, others the greatest hoax in human history. This is the Shroud of Turin, a linen fabric that may or may not bear the face of Jesus Christ. For generations, it has been a symbol of profound faith, a source of intense skepticism, and an enduring enigma that challenges everything we think we know about history, art, and the divine. Join us as we pull back the veil on one of humanity's most fascinating and controversial artifacts. Is this the burial cloth of Christ, or is it a masterful medieval forgery? Tonight, we journey into the heart of a mystery that is both ancient and startlingly modern. The shroud first appeared in the historical record in the mid-1300s in the small town of Lire, France, owned by a respected knight named Geoffroy de Charny. The linen cloth, stretching over 14 feet long, bore the faint sepia-toned image of a crucified man. The details were haunting: a head crowned with thorns, a body marked by the brutal lashes of a scourge, and wounds on the wrists and feet consistent with crucifixion. To the faithful of the era, this was nothing short of miraculous, tangible proof of Christ's suffering and resurrection. It quickly became an object of intense veneration, drawing pilgrims from across Europe. But almost immediately, skepticism arose. The local bishop, Pierre d'Arcy, wrote to the Pope, claiming it was an elaborate and cunningly painted forgery, a relic designed to inspire devotion, yes, but also to attract lucrative donations from pilgrims. He even claimed to know the artist. And so, the battle lines were drawn from the very beginning. Was this a sacred object touched by the divine? Or was it a clever piece of medieval artistry, created for piety and profit? The question echoed through the centuries, setting the stage for a debate that would one day move from cathedrals to laboratories. For centuries, the shroud was revered, debated, and even damaged by fire, but its greatest secret remained hidden in plain sight. Then came 1898, a year that would forever change the story of the shroud. An amateur Italian photographer named Secondo Pia was granted permission to take the first-ever photograph of the relic. It was a painstaking process, using large, heavy equipment and glass plate negatives. When he retreated to his darkroom to develop the image, he could not have anticipated what he was about to see. As the image slowly materialized on the negative plate, Pia was stunned. The faint, ethereal figure on the cloth was transformed. On the negative, the image was not a ghostly outline, but a detailed, lifelike, positive portrait of a man's face, complete with a beard, long hair, and serene, yet sorrowful features. It was a perfect photographic negative, centuries before the invention of photography itself. How could this be? How could a 700-year-old piece of linen contain such incredible, modern-looking visual information? It was as if the cloth was designed to be seen in reverse. This startling discovery reignited the debate with unprecedented intensity. Skeptics were baffled, and believers felt vindicated. The image that shouldn't exist became the central paradox of the Shroud of Turin, deepening the mystery and posing a question that art historians and scientists still struggle to answer today. The 20th century brought new tools to the investigation. The mystery of the shroud was no longer a matter of faith alone. It had become a scientific puzzle. The ultimate test came in 1988, when the Vatican granted permission for a small sample of the cloth to be tested using radiocarbon dating. 3 separate, world-renowned laboratories in Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona were given pieces of the linen. The world held its breath. When the results were announced, they were a bombshell. All 3 labs independently concluded that the linen dated to between 1260 and 1390 AD, with over 95% certainty. This placed the shroud's creation firmly in the Middle Ages, exactly when it first appeared in France. To many, the mystery was solved. The shroud was a fake. Case closed. But then controversy erupted. Critics of the test, including some of the scientists involved, pointed out that the sample was taken from a corner of the shroud that had been repaired and rewoven in the 16th century by nuns after a fire. They argued that this newer medieval patch had been tested, not the original ancient linen. New analyses suggested that the fibers might have been contaminated by centuries of handling, exposure to candle smoke, and the intense heat of fires, which could skew the carbon dating results. The scientific final word was anything but. Instead of ending the debate, the 1988 carbon dating only added another layer of complexity and contention, leaving the shroud's true age once again shrouded in doubt. Even if we set aside the carbon dating controversy, the shroud presents a host of details that modern science struggles to explain. When examined under a microscope, the image is not made of paint, dye, or any known pigment. The color resides only on the very topmost microfibers of the linen threads, a surface discoloration just microns deep. No artist, medieval or modern, has ever been able to replicate this effect. If it were a painting, the liquid would have seeped into the fibers. It didn't. Furthermore, forensic analysis has found traces of human blood on the shroud, specifically in the areas corresponding to the wounds. The blood type is AB, which is common in the Middle East but rare in Europe. And there's more. Microscopic pollen grains unique to the flora of the Jerusalem area and the ancient region of Constantinople have been detected embedded in the cloth, tracing a possible journey that aligns with the relic's rumored history before it appeared in France. Perhaps most astonishingly, when the image data is fed into a digital image analyzer, like the VP8 image analyzer once used by NASA, it produces a three-dimensional relief of a human body. A normal photograph or painting would appear distorted. The shroud, however, contains encoded 3D information, something no known artistic technique, ancient or modern, can reproduce. How could a medieval forger have accomplished these feats, creating an image with properties that we can only uncover with 21st century technology? And so, we arrive at the heart of the matter. The Shroud of Turin sits at the tense, fascinating crossroads of faith and reason. For believers, the scientific enigmas are proof of its divine origin. The bloodstains, the pollen, the 3D image, they are seen as miraculous fingerprints left behind by the resurrection. The shroud is the closest we have ever come to touching the divine, a silent witness to the most important event in Christian history. It's an object of profound devotion, drawing millions to pray before it, to see in its faint outlines the face of their Savior. On the other side of the divide are the skeptics. They view the shroud not as a miracle, but as a supremely clever artifact of human imagination and artistry. For them, the carbon dating is definitive, and the other anomalies, while puzzling, must have a rational, natural explanation that we simply haven't discovered yet. It's a historical puzzle, a forensic cold case, and a testament to the ingenuity of a forgotten medieval artist. But one thing is certain for both sides. The image still defies a full, conclusive explanation. Whether the face is that of Christ or that of an anonymous man whose death became immortalized in linen, the shroud forces us to confront the very nature of evidence and what we ultimately choose to believe. More than 600 years after it was first displayed in that small French town, the Shroud of Turin still refuses to yield its final truth. It has survived fires, wars, and centuries of scientific scrutiny, yet its central mystery remains perfectly intact. Is it a miracle, a divine photograph of the resurrection captured on cloth? Is it a masterpiece of human artistry, a work of such genius that its methods remain unknown even today? Or maybe, just maybe, it's both. Perhaps its true purpose is not to give us a definitive answer, but to inspire awe and wonder, to push the boundaries of both our faith and our understanding. Because sometimes the mystery itself is the most divine thing of all. This is history and mystery, where we uncover the secrets time tried to erase. What do you believe? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation into the Bermuda Triangle and the baffling vanishing of Flight 19. Thanks for watching.